still blows my mind to this day. When you see the webcams and you see Clem, and he's so youthful and so talented, and it makes me very jealous, if I'm honest with you, Ben. Now, PVT here on Death Aura. I think if we're ShoWTimE, we expect to see things relatively normal. I don't feel like he's the kind of player who map 1 throws down a proxy Stargate and goes for a Void Ray battery rush, something like that. I think we'll probably see him open either Stargate with Oracles or Blink, get a third base and play it out from there. As for Clem, what do you kind of expect from the little Terran player here?
You know, when you were bringing up the webcams, I was like, people often call Clem Little Clem, like you just did. And then you got ShoWTimE that is big ShoWTimE. And
he's massive.
Whether it's just the distance of them both to and from their webcams, ShoWTimE definitely looks a little bit larger than Little Clem. But yeah, speaking about what I expect from Clem. So here he's going for a SV Scout. Is that in the middle? Yeah, an SV Scout and a Marine first. I know a lot of people probably like, man, not Reaper first? Terrans have been divvying it up a lot. Like the 50 gas that you use on the Reaper, like just to make sure that you're safe kind of thing, you don't necessarily need it as much. Like finding out what tech your opponent's doing, it used to be life or death, but Terran have become so much more, what's the word, adept at defending, despite going for X opening, that I like this kind of play from Clem.
It feels like as well within the last year or two, Terrans have taken control of that early game a little bit more. You've seen Widow Mine drops become so popular, and they do force the response from the Protoss and give the Terran that little bit more control. Now, in terms of tech, nothing going down just yet for our German Protoss player in the top side. He is just producing a couple of Stalkers. The first Adept is out and moving across the map. Clem is going to get that bunker to defend his CC. This SCV has been sticking around for a late scout, I imagine, after seeing the Adept go by.
So I think this is sticking around for a Starfall, actually, Grant. So had to wait for the factory to finish, obviously. This kind of position, it's, you know, it's, I don't want to say it's obvious. Like you don't.
Is this Hellion drop? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Hellion drop. And so there's a few things I like about this a lot. Hellion drop, like obviously only the 4 Hellions can get into the base with the medevac. With the Reaper, if you make a Reaper, they can't be loaded into the medevac as well. Obviously, can run and jump up. Oh, look at this scouted by ShoWTimE. Just misses it. That is so unfortunate not going near the rocks. But, and is he going to scout on this side? No. So obvious, but not obvious enough. Like Clem, he's going to get away with this. And Hellions, if they get into the main, the damage that can be done.
Yeah, this is your kind of game so far, I imagine, Ben. A lot of damage, possibly coming towards the Protoss player. And this shows that Clem has done his research, right? He saw the way that ShoWTimE's generally moving around the map. He knew that this is a great spot to drop this. It's not a spot I would have ever considered. So very intelligent here from Clem. And now that medevac is going to pop out as the Hellions arrive. And we're going to see that boost on over. And there is no vision between the main and this spot. So this is certainly coming in completely unscouted, completely unexpected, possibly. There are a few, few Stalkers here. Is this going to be able to find some damage?
It certainly will. How much is the question? Nice split. Oh, misfire there. I think he shot at the Nexus or something, or a Stalker. So the first shot not that good, but Clem very good with his control thus far, getting another couple of probes. And here we go. Oh, surrounded for a moment. But ShoWTimE only losing 6 probes to this so far. Wait. I think Clem messed up a little bit there with his control, but ShoWTimE, you know, he definitely suffered some probe losses, but that could have been far worse than it was.
Yeah, Clem, you did. There was a failed shot onto a Stalker, and then the final shot as well, he didn't fire it before he stutter steps. He got the timing very slightly wrong, and missed the possibility of maybe one more shot, although that's not definite here, of course. Clem behind this is going into standard bio play by the looks of things. He has his Starport, of course, is done and flying home. He has an eBay on the way. And our Protoss player, very, very comfortable, despite taking a bit of damage, gets that third base. And we said this is where ShoWTimE's dangerous, when he can get up to 3 and 4 bases and find his macro strides without taking too much damage. He can be a really big threat to a player like Clem.
Certainly can. And this right now, if you're Clem, you got a decent scout of the entire Protoss base, so you can kind of tell, like, okay, this is going to be Blink Stalkers, right? Oh, loses Cyclone, does not get the Stalker kill, but does keep the Starport alive, which was his main goal. And the Cyclone, it's just a defensive unit anyway. Blink
into the main coming up here, and the third is in this position. You will be slowed down now. A tank coming down, of course. to push this back a little bit. Gets a nice big volley off on these Stalkers, which will be able to blink away 1 or 2 at a time. Does lose one, but nothing massive there for ShoWTimE. Behind this is Forges on the way. He's getting his second Forge even, sorry. +1 armor. He's getting Zealot legs. So we are going to see that Protoss Brawler style, where they go for lots of gateways, lots of Zealots. Some Archons, I imagine, will eventually come in. Stalkers to support and offer some of that back DPS. Sentries for the Guardian Shields and things. And there's that Templar Archives as well. ShoWTimE's army is going to be pretty strong here.
It will be. It definitely will be. Like, he's not going for Colossus tech or anything like that, and he's thrown down 3 gases at once, so he didn't have this massive gas bank to work with. But I do love the fact that he got a second Forge up once he realized what was going on, that it was a 3cc game and not necessarily going to be under like 2 base pressure or anything like that. And he's definitely ramped up his economy, so has a little lead in that regard. We're having a very textbook TVP game here, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, despite that early drop, everything is just going as you expect it. Storm on the way here for ShoWTimE to complement his Gateway army. +1 weapons and armor were the choices here. 4 more gates on the way for ShoWTimE. That's going to put that to a total of 8 off of 3 bases, which is sort of that magic number where Protoss will aim to be. But Clem still has a good SCV count. Of course, he has mules as well. He's not taken any damage himself.
He's not economic damage, yeah.
Yeah.
Cyclone loss is just whatever, you know, like it would be kind of nice to keep it around for a possible Warp Prism later on, but it's just one of those things where it's like safety immediately. So ShoWTimE trying to get a scout off here. He was paying attention to his hallucination there. Will get over. And Clem gets a scan off and gets to see that he is up against High Templar tech here.
Yeah, Storm already very close to completing. Stim is done for Clem, but there isn't a window here. And of course, he does not know that. He does not know the timing of Storm. He saw the High Templars, but he is going to push in with a small bio force. A lot of men coming behind him, though. Reinforcements looking very strong here for Clem. And he is going to bring these SCVs to the fight. Try and get down maybe some bunkers. The first Storm goes down. SCVs really don't like Storms, the Muslim.
They certainly don't. The tanks are really, really cool here. They'll make the fight very hard for ShoWTimE. And Clem, he's got more supply. He's got a lot of firepower here. And making the bunkers as well to make this wall. Zealots are pretty much like his go-to here. And they can't even be used properly.
Oh, the Storms coming down on the bio. The tanks stand strong. They've offered a lot of output here. A lot of DPS has come out from these. Now, Super Battery is about to run out, meaning that these Immortals are actually having to juggle. The tank's doing so much damage here. They still stand strong, and Clem has so much. GG. Clem takes map 1.
Oh, that was really clean by Clem. And when I saw the SCVs arrive super damn early there, and I was like, you're giving it away, Clem. You're doing it all in. But he had to send them real damn fast because he had to get those bunkers down. It was all about getting a very forward position there. Well played by Clem, and he kind of capitalized on the fact that he did damage early on, and he just kept up the aggression. And nice tank placement as well, defending. Didn't really take too many losses, maybe lost like 1 SCV or something like that.
Yeah.
Clean game by Clem.
Yeah, we said he needs to take it to his opponent, and that's exactly what Clem did. Our next map, the Muslim, is going to be Ice and Chrome. And tell me, from a Terran's perspective, what are you feeling about this map?
I think it's nice. Nice in the sense that, you know, dropping into the main's quite cool. I think it's cool for setting up a third base where you can have like tanks on the high ground and stuff and float over. It's always nice when you have that third that kind of makes the triangular position for a Terran with the 3 bases. That being said, it's also a map that you can potentially play mech on against Protoss. Also, it's very good for Warp Prisms getting into your main base. There's lots of that dead air space at the bottom or top of the map where Warp Prisms can hang around and stuff. This is one of my more favorite maps of the new pool, actually. There's so many strategies that both races can do here.
Yeah, and it feels like counteract your point. Although it's very good for Prisms, it's also very good for Medevacs. There's a lot of space to get Widow Mines and things in between the third, the natural, and the main. I really like that sort of Cure-esque style that we've seen some Terrans pick up, where they keep dropping 2-3 Widow Mines almost for the entirety of the game instead of doing Marine drops. Because if they get one magic hit, they can change the tide. We are loading into Ice and Chrome now. I think the onus is still on Clem here. He still needs to be the aggressor to try and dictate the pace and not allow ShoWTimE too much leeway, almost like if he was playing a Zerg. But it's hopefully it'll be as fun as game 1.
I'm wondering, like, if I'm in Clem's position, that drop did so much damage early on, and it obviously could have dealt more, right? I mean, ShoWTimE was decently prepared. He had 3 Stalkers in the main for it and stuff, but does Clem go for it again, but without the slight hiccups there, and deal more damage? Or does he totally mix it up, go for something a little more orthodox?
For now, our Terran player in the bottom left representing Team Liquid, excuse me, from France, it's Clem.
And our Protoss representing big, it is ShoWTimE.
Clement. So, talk me through this, Ben. We do see that sort of proxy racks halfway up the map. What is the purpose here? What is Clem looking to get out of this, and what's the ideal situation for both of our players?
Okay, so
I'm just going to make you explain everything, basically.
Yeah, I'll try my best. So this isn't a fake proxy, because it's obviously on the map, but it's not as close as it can be to ShoWTimE. And we do see ShoWTimE scouting around for proxies. So there absolutely could be a case of these two have played against each other a lot, most likely, both on ladder, in tournaments. Maybe Clem has figured out something with a proxy that he knows ShoWTimE doesn't like too much on this map, and ShoWTimE is countering it by trying to scout for the proxy first. But look at this. It's Marine into a very, very fast factory. So it's going to be an absolute full one-base committal by Clem.
ShoWTimE is moving across the map to scout the main of Clem, but he is going to walk right on by this proxy on the high ground, which is now swapping over and adding that reactor here. So this is going to be a lot of Marines. And what do you expect to be coming out of the factory? Cycler?
Actually, I'm going to take back a little bit of what I said.
Okay.
It still might not be a full one-base all-in. So given my boys, when we played the War Chest Team League, TUI, he went up against Estrella on this map and did something very similar to this with, like, it was Hellion Harass, lots of Widow Mines, lots of drop, lots of harass, just with a later CC. It could absolutely still be something like that. And we do see that he's not fully gas mining here. So I do think we'll see something go up soon. Okay, it's a starport. Is it in the main? It is in the main. So he's making ShoWTimE feel very uncomfortable here, because ShoWTimE has no idea what's going on. Yeah,
we're going to see a Twilight in the front here from ShoWTimE. He should drop down a battery relatively soon, I imagine. But it's very difficult to prepare against something when you have no idea what it is. Hellions are being produced here from the reactor factory, and they will be able to move across the map very shortly. We said this in the last series. Icing Chrome very difficult to wall off in any of the matchups. So Hellions certainly may be able to get a run by here. The Twilight Council being in the wall there for ShoWTimE, I think that's very, very intelligent.
Yeah, and look at this, by the way. We have... So this is very much like the TY build that I saw from him against Estrella in the Blizzard, the Worcester Team League, and it is followed up by Widow Mine. So the Armory now grants Widow Mines invisibility when they're burrowed, even when they get the shot off. These Hellions, though, so far, they go for the wall, and he's revealed that he's gone Hellions, but no damage done thus far.
Yeah, Blink is swirling up here for ShoWTimE as well. Very standard opening Blink into Robo here. For the German Protoss player, Clem is adding on his natural, I believe, down in position. And I mean, he is quite behind in terms of that timing. You can see ShoWTimE's already got 13 workers on his and has been mining from it quite efficiently for a while. Widow Mine drop, though, is on the way here for Clem. And I kind of feel like he needs to find a little bit of damage here.
Oh, he went for a Widow Mine in the wall here? Is this to kill the Stalker, then to get in? Oh, it didn't work out. 7 probes in the back, though. That Widow Mine got a lot of damage, and we see ShoWTimE shake his head because that was not meant to happen.
No, the start of the defense was absolutely perfect here. Behind this, Clem is moving into pretty standard Terran units. There is a Raven on the way to deal with any Colossus or Prism shenanigans early on. He's going to clean up. ShoWTimE is going to clean up here. This Widow Mine drop. This is what I said I like to see. Non-stop drops. Just constantly be on it. And these Hellions have potential to find damage here.
They certainly do. 3 Hellions is enough to one-shot probes, and 5 extra probes falling. 7. Oh, it's going to be even more. 9 going down here. This is way too much damage to be receiving at this point in the game. Clem takes an SCV lead against Protoss while getting his third base up as well. Clem is just, he's wrecking ShoWTimE.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good so far for Clement here. Now, ShoWTimE is pushing out with a couple of units, going to try and find something on the other end of the map here. But Clem's been very, very tricky. These Stalkers moving across. Blink is done, and we'll be able to blink into the main here, maybe get a couple of add-ons, for example, a few units, maybe an SCV if he's very, very lucky. But there is already a Viking coming. The Raven is here as well to push off this Observer if there was a blink into the main. There's a decent amount for Clem. Losing this bunker to start isn't great, but I don't feel like Clem's going to take any real damage here.
No, at first I was a little worried that he made the Raven because it takes a long build time and it drops its turret and then it's like, okay, what now? What now, Raven? But Clem's doing a good job of moving about. I was also a bit worried about that bunker being so far forward, but it being far forward alerted Clem a little bit earlier so he could position how he wanted to against it. And he's just getting into the flow of this game.
Yeah, we see the third Nexus coming up for ShoWTimE. He's adding on 4 gates, going up to a total of 6. We'll probably look to get up to 8 as that third finishes. Zealot charge on the way, alongside Blink already being done. This Observer will finally be taken down. That reduces any risk of Blinks in, but also will allow Clem to tech up a little bit heavier. Stim is, of course, quite late, 6 minutes 20, just starting off here. But are you happy with where Clem's at in this game? Is there anything that you can think of so far that you'd change?
No, I think Clem's playing really well, honestly. Like, I think mind games, very good. Execution, very good. Just all round 10 out of 10 across the board. He's not even being too cheeky about taking his third too early, even though he has it, I do believe. In fact,
doesn't.
No, not at all. Okay, scratch what I said about thirds and stuff earlier, but now he starts taking his third. All the upgrades that he wants are starting. But yeah, even if he had a third, I was glad that he was just kind of set in his base and not taking any extra, like being too reckless, you know?
Yeah, Clem's economy is still at 45 workers, and with the third CC on the way, he'll be able to triple produce and catch up. We do have an 8 Marine drop now storming across the map here in this medevac, going to boost into the main. There is detection in place as an observer here for ShoWTimE that will allow him to see as it is coming in. But Clem also pushing out here to try and secure his third, moving these tanks forward. It looks like this drop might be able to find a little bit, but nothing spectacular. Nah, no chance. Run.
We're just going to see another massive attack from Clem, but okay, this is very nicely held by ShoWTimE. Like, he lost one Stalker to kill a lot of Marines there. Almost got the medevac as well. And yeah, even though Clem did so much damage, I am wondering why he transitioned into this build. Like, not going for a super early third, getting the Raven as well. He really slowed down the pace of the game, and now, despite him killing like 18 workers, ShoWTimE's not looking too bad.
Yeah, ShoWTimE still has nearly 60 probes. He's coming in now with this medevac, this Warp Prism even into the main, and will be able to unleash that. Actually deciding against it for now. Going to back off. We have seen ShoWTimE move out towards the center of the map. He's just dealing with that leftover add-on that was left behind as well. Clem is going to secure his third. He's keeping it very, very safe. Keeping all his units at home, as you sort of suggested. His upgrades are good. We've not seen any. There's not even a forge yet for ShoWTimE, which is kind of concerning. Clem needs to hold this push. That's very, very important right now. If he does, I think he'll be in a great position, but this is a big committal here from ShoWTimE.
There's a few things that are interesting about this. So Clem needs to hold this push, but the thing is, ShoWTimE wants Clem to push into him as well. Like, he's going for it anyway. ShoWTimE just marching in here, and there is so much ShoWTimE. The Raven as well. It must have died at the start of the fight or something. So nice pick off by ShoWTimE, but ShoWTimE just so much Protoss just marching in, even getting a hallucinated Colossus for high ground vision here and to just be annoying.
I mean, the Zealot count just superb. It's so high. There was 19 at the beginning of that fight. There's still 19 now with another wave coming in of reinforcements. And it looks like ShoWTimE will be able to break down his opponent here. The third base is going to be forced to lift minimum. The tank on the high ground is doing a lot. We may see some Zealots dropped on it. Although the Prism could end up going down here, and that would take a lot of sting out of this. When all is said and done, Clem has 26 workers.
He doesn't have many, but if he survives, and he will be against 0-0, I mean, that's quite a few juicy Widowmine shots and lovely positioning by Clem, honestly. Like, even though it's real grim for him, these Widow Mines are absolutely keeping him in the game, and that +2 when it finishes, by golly, is this bio going to rinse this Gateway squad.
Yeah, still no upgrades. 4 just finally being added on for ShoWTimE. Widow Mines continue to be a real pain in his backside. Now, ShoWTimE is trying to trade effectively. I think, yeah, taking out medevacs and things is very, very smart, because Clem doesn't want to have to reproduce those expensive major units, the Widow Mines, the medevacs and things. He can't afford to be making bio and remaking them. So ShoWTimE, I like what he's trying to do here. He is walking in another big round, and I think at this point it may be a little bit too much. The Widow Mines still keeping him at bay, but I mean, these medevacs out of energy now, Muslim, and Clem's army looking awfully pitiful.
It's still packing a punch, though. It's still packing a punch. Like, ShoWTimE really wants to deal even more damage. The Observer grants him vision so he can start cleaning up the Widow Mines. If Clem can get, like, some semblance of an economy together, which he kind of has at this point, his army could get strong. Oh, he actually skipped +1 armor, so it's just +2 attack.
Yeah.
And 4 Archons, that could be the nail in the coffin, actually, if he's not careful.
Yeah, these Archons gonna be able to pretty much pretend the Widow Mines aren't even there, although so many of them have been cleaned up. Medevac's still completely energyless. This army beaten and battered. The blink forward here from ShoWTimE. Force fields, of course, no to trap some of these units. The Widow Mines in the back are still alive. Clem's trying desperately, making a few Marines, trying to squeeze in some medevacs, but even some of the production being pounced on now. And I do believe it is becoming a little bit more difficult here for the little Frenchman to bring this back. His army supply is still not too far off from his opponents, and with upgrades, he's microing like an absolute genius. It's so good. But unfortunately, I just don't know if he has enough.
Me neither, me neither. And the Widow Mines are kind of going off on already dead units as well, so that sucks for him. ShoWTimE, he's actually got Double Forge behind all this, so he's going to start catching up in upgrades pretty soon. And just the Might of Zion takes out all the Widow Mines, not even leaving that last one there. So ShoWTimE, 50 supply lead, still pushing in, still trying to do what he can.
I mean, ShoWTimE has a 4th base on the way behind this. He's, you know, although he has committed a lot, this is by no means the be-all and end-all of his game. If he gets suddenly pushed back here, he's not going to type GG and leave. He's in a very comfortable position. You never want to pull SCVs against Archons. They really, really, really die fast, and we can see 7 going down 9, and this is already the very limited amount that Clem has. A final Hail Mary here from Clem is unsuccessful, and ShoWTimE will be picking up, most likely, eventually, Ice and Chrome to even up the series.
Yeah, I mean, Clem made it damn difficult for him.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that ShoWTimE came back from losing 18 probes this game to making this work. Like, that's truly phenomenal.
Yeah, he's killed 47 of his own, so revenge was most definitely served here. The Zealots, I mean, ShoWTimE, of course, has been so inefficient that GG is cool, and we're at 1-1.
I thought that was Clem being cheeky then, but, you know, I don't know how French keyboards necessarily work. Maybe he was being a bit cheeky. But yeah, that was an awesome game, and it's lovely to see the series is tied up. And guys, we'll be going to a short break, but do stay tuned because there's going to be more Clem versus ShoWTimE.
Welcome back to DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters Fall. We are here in the Europe region covering Clem versus ShoWTimE. We're at 1-1, getting into our third map to Muslim, and it's been a very explosive series so far, very aggressive across all aspects of the game. And now it's down to one best of three to determine who will advance in the winner's bracket.
Certainly. And going on to Golden Wall as well. I think this is awesome. You know, when it comes down to spicy builds, this can definitely be one way you can throw it out. We've seen like Protosses do weird things too, where they mine out their back minerals first and expand there, and you know, just lots of crazy things. So I'm looking forward to see what both these guys bring to the table. And guys, we're going to be getting right on into our third game of the series. It's currently tied up between these players, and spawning over in the bottom left-hand side, it is Clem.
And his opponent in the southeast, he is the red Protoss player, ShoWTimE. Oh, I like that one.
Clem's been huffing and puffing in his webcam a bit, like big size and stuff going down. And I'm glad I mentioned it. You know, like the last time I saw a PVT on this map that went the distance was Zest versus Bunny. Now, this was a beautiful matchup in the Benny and the boys versus Rotterdam's team in the War Chest Team League. Zest ended up doing exactly this and getting himself a bit of a lead. And Clem opting for the double gas, and yet again, crazy.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will say, because it did happen at the end of last game, and I don't want it getting away from me, is that Clem did mention in the lobby that he mistyped GG. He didn't mean it sarcastically. I feel like Clem's too good a kid to be sitting there BMing ShoWTimE in a major tournament. So it didn't happen. Don't worry. It was a mistake. Now, what do you expect from this double gas? I mean, this map really doesn't see much in PvT, right?
So not like what am I expecting from double gas, but what am I expecting from ShoWTimE here? Like, is this going to be Proxy Oracle?
Is it going to be Proxy Void Ray? It's a very good map for it. You put shield batteries down where you open up, and oof.
And look, by the way, like this is a full wall off at the top of his ramp, right? So he's kind of like,
Voids, I think.
This is really cool to see from ShoWTimE, because this is the last thing I expect when you go up against him.
It's pretty uncharacteristic. That warp gate will start off. What? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is super weird. And is he going to have a unit out in time? Yeah, he should have the Adept out. A second Reaper starts up as well. So,
oh, is it DT drop?
Absolutely, it could be anything at this point, Grant. And
yeah,
when Clem goes up this ramp, he's like, no Nexus. Wait, wall off. He's probably thinking, what on earth, ShoWTimE? This is not what I prepped for. This is not how you're meant to be playing.
Think we'll see a Dark Shrine immediately go down here?
Or it's
because it would finish at the same time as a Prism, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Wow, this is very uncharacteristic here from ShoWTimE. He usually does play sort of a pretty safe style into a third.
Okay,
Oh
okay.
God.
So Clem is
wants to
like,
know.
Clem is like, okay, you've exposed in the back, right, mate? Oh, okay, he's checking for proxies first. This is so smart by Clem.
He's going to see it as well.
He's going to find it. He's going to find it. And ShoWTimE's probably like,
Go on.
God damn it, kid. Why are you so damn good at this game? But this, like, scouting it, that's the first stage of stopping it. Like, this is going to be turned into a real weird game from this point on.
There's one pylon powering all of this to Muslim. 2 Reapers take a really long time to kill it, but they could at least slow down the warp-ins. If this goes down, of course, before warp gate finishes and they can warp in those DTs, I don't know. It would probably be fairly close. I think maybe the Reaper's a little too slow here for the warp-ins. No, they're going to be able to cancel any warp-ins, and that means how many gateways are there? There's only going to be 1 gate that can warp in now.
Where's the probe as well? Like, I feel like a probe... It should have been way closer to sorting that out, but this map, despite it being weird, it's actually pretty damn huge. And that 1 DT, it's like the one blind spot in his base. And Clem, he does see it now. He's got a turret up already.
Clem just very, very prepared. The DT will be saved as long as this Prism can escape the wrath of the Cyclone, and that is all good here. Tank production has begun for Clem, really staying safe. These 2 Reapers going to get up into the main. 2 Reapers able to really do some damage here. It's an unlikely timing here for Clem to be moving into the main, and DT is being forced to warp in defensively. 3 probes go down for 1 Reaper. Really decent trade there for Clem, I think it's fair to say.
I think, look how ShoWTimE looks right there. He kind of just shook his head a little bit. He's probably like, oh my gosh, in all my practice games, nobody ever thought of mining out the minerals and scouting that as quickly as they did. He didn't even go to check out what the natural was or like if it was an expo. He was like, bam. Okay, that's a nice pickup though.
Yeah.
Waste of scan.
Yeah, scan, and also 1 unit going down there. The Reaper is back again to try and unpower this, but he will be met with an invisible friend here. Prism is going to head south just to try and help out. The Reaper is going to get away too quick, and the Prism going to escape here over the dead space. Dark Shrine is going to be protected by the Dark Templar, and behind this we have Immortal production beginning from that proxy location, right? Yeah, and Blink on the way as well. ShoWTimE's kind of trying to macro out of this with half of his base in the face of his opponent.
Yeah, like it's weirdly safe because the back minerals of Clem's base, he doesn't want to mine them out because he doesn't want a direct shortcut to his base from this all-in. He did scout the Nexus, went down. I mean, it's a late Nexus. And ShoWTimE he's definitely got his work cut out for him because he's 20 supply behind. His base is much later. Oh, it's a rough spot for him to be in, man.
Yeah, his tech as well, of course. It isn't bad. He does have that Dark Shrine. He has Blink. About halfway done, he already has an Immortal, but only 1. The main thing right now is his work count is low. He has taken the safer expansion down in the south side of the map here, but Clem's army is starting to get pretty decent. He has good tank coverage. He's getting a Raven now, so DT has become much less of a nuisance generally. Alongside the missile turrets, he should be able to not be caught too off guard now. We do have a drop coming in, but this Prism's already pretty soft. There we go, going to be pushed away.
It is soft. It's just ShoWTimE. Like, the time, I don't think it's going to get much better for you. Like, Blink is finishing now, so he's going to be able to warp in quite a few more. Oh, that Raven.
That's a big mistake. Important unit there that would have been able to stop the warp-ins or spot the DTs if the fight happens in the front. He's going to warp in an Archon, so DT's less of a threat here. Bunker coming down from Clem. He's pulled a lot of workers. This is ShoWTimE's moment. The tank spread, though, does look pretty good here from Clem. He only has the 1 maybe firing at the moment. Cyclone will fall. The bunker stands strong, though, and it's such an important defense here from Clem because if ShoWTimE can snowball this still could go awry here for the Terran player.
I love that this is practically a 1 base all-in still from ShoWTimE. I know we've got the Nexus up, but Clem's taking a 3rd base. Ooh, big Blink on the bunker, gets the tank. Bunker will fall as well, most likely. Remember, there's no stim and stuff yet, but that's still a healthy amount of Marines, and ShoWTimE, how does he get out of this? He can get the Stalkers out of it, but the Immortal, in fact, more Stalkers warping in.
Yeah, and now there are 2 tanks down here on the low ground. This becomes a bit more difficult for ShoWTimE. You can see they're absolutely unleashing hell here on top of all of the Stalkers. The Immortal is very low. It's going to take workers to finish it off, and the Marauder hits. Save, that's cute here from ShoWTimE. But behind this, he's down 16 workers. Clem only lost 2 workers, despite pulling so many. He still has tanks, now up to, I believe, 3 or 4. Yep, 3. He's getting more and more bio. Stim nearly done. +1 nearly done. This is only going to get trickier for ShoWTimE as time goes on.
Yeah, and the webcam feature that we have, like seeing the torment that ShoWTimE finds himself in, and he feels he's probably done this to himself in a lot of ways, and does get into the main. We'll be able to maybe pick off a reactor here, but seeing that your opponent is this far along, has the 3rd base, the 3rd CC as well here. Like, the tanks are moving, but that's 3 tanks. What was that? Was that combat shield denied? That's definitely decent.
Yeah, combat shield denied. Not only that, the missile turret was taken out, and that Raven went down earlier. Now, there is scan energy here from Clem, but he doesn't want to be using it. Now, +1 did finish. That's quite an important thing to notice. Although the eBay went down, +1 completed. Clem forced to pull the boys here, and honestly, the army from ShoWTimE isn't bad. The Immortal does go down. Stalkers start to fall. A couple of them getting stuck here. The tanks, though, offering so much. GG, Clem holds.
Oh, he holds, and he holds pretty darn well as well. Like, that was definitely a clash of builds there, Grant. Like the double Reaper, double gas opening from Clem versus the 1 base DT drop, which he sniffed out ultra damn fast and had turrets up in time. That could have been a very different story if Clem wasn't so quick on his feet. Because, yeah, seeing, like, all he needed was seeing that wall off, and it's like no nexus, and it's like, no, you're up to something. You're up to something. It's definitely not just a nexus very safely behind the mineral line, which is what a lot of players would have been thinking. But yeah, Clem, he's not just microly fantastic. He's also a very, very bright individual, very obviously.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the end of that game on Clem's webcam, he didn't look happy. He sort of sighed, nodded his head, sort of content that he'd done the job, but he didn't look happy with how it unfolded. And he did have to pull a lot of workers, and it did get very scrappy and look threatening for a moment or two from ShoWTimE. But Clem was able to do it, and now we move on to our maybe last map, maybe penultimate map here on Everdream. And Clem just 1 map away now from moving into that semi-finals of the winner bracket.
And when it comes to both these guys, ShoWTimE and Clem, like, I still remember the old day. Like, ShoWTimE's been around for so long now, it feels like, that he's always been top tier in the European scene. Always top tier. I know he's been overshadowed by the likes of Serral, Clem, not Clem, Raynor. But if it wasn't for those guys, like, for sure, ShoWTimE would have picked up more championships. And now he's going up against another up-and-comer that's potentially overtaking him as well. It's just, mentally, it's such a rough thing to see. All these youngsters, this youngster blood that Serral talked about, and they're so darn good.
Yeah, StarCraft in a beautiful place right now. We're blessed with so many great up-and-coming players. And even though, you know, saying Clem is up-and-coming is whilst very, very true, he's been up-and-coming. He's really at that level or very close to what you expect now. There's players like Geralt who are improving rapidly. Coron, all of these young, incredible players. Goblin, even though he's a scumbag, all starting to get very, very good at the game, and it's very exciting. For now, our player on the top right in the red, it's ShoWTimE.
And over in the bottom left-hand side of Everdream, it is Clem.
So tell me about this map instead now, Ben. We did the last one, but I'm going to ask for your knowledge once again. Here on Everdream, it's very, very droppable once again, I like to think. Is there a certain style you like to play here on Everdream?
No. there isn't a particular style that I think Everdream only lends itself to. I do want to mention, though, that both these guys have pretty much gone for very different builds, especially Clem, every game of this series so far. So Clem went for the Hellion drop with the proxy starport to start things off. Then he went for, what was it in the second game? It was the one base on Ice and Chrome. Then the one base kind of start again on Golden Wall, but like not super committed. Just a lot of very different openings from Clem, and I think that definitely is the marking of a very good Terran player, that you can't necessarily plan for him.
ShoWTimE, on the other hand, we have seen he went for something very different to his usual style last game and it didn't pan out. I wouldn't be surprised to see ShoWTimE fall back on his tried and true, get to 3 and 4 bases, get good upgrades, and just Protoss him good and proper. We do see the Reaper coming across right now for Clem. Going to get a little bit of information here. The Adept will be able to stop it in time. 1 Marine coming up to follow here just to stay very safe against the Probe Scout and anything else. Bunker coming down, Robo coming down, Factory coming down, CC coming down, everything standard to get us started.
I was about to say, that was the prettiest looking Robo I've ever seen, that Factory over there, you know?
Ugly, mate.
So Factory, and he actually went Reaper, Marine here, as opposed to just a single Marine and Reactor. Is that indicative of anything specific? Maybe it's definitely going to delay Hellions if he wanted to make Hellions. He's just going to make 1 here just for defensive purposes, I suppose, or might be a later scout off. But yeah, Clem's build so far, I don't know what he's going for entirely. And ShoWTimE on his side of things, Twilight into Robo again.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to see a Blink here coming out of Berlin International Gamers, BIG's ShoWTimE. Blink with that Robo, very good. Oh, it's going to be DT straight away. Okay. This, again, a little bit un-ShoWTimE-like. Blink is very, very standard. You see Blink with the Prism, and you do have a 3-gate Blink into a 3rd or 4-gate Blink parting style and be very, very aggressive. But this time it is that Dark Shrine and that Prism coming in. Oh, nice. This is a very important scout for Clem. He sees the Dark Shrine. Incredible to use the Reaper in that way. So good. So well timed. And Clem as well, getting a little bit of damage, even getting an SCV. That was a fantastic move.
Okay. For a moment there, he was getting the +1 armor on air there on the Cybercore. So I don't know what exactly that was about. Maybe just trying to show something that he wasn't doing. We've had a lot of that today, a lot of mind games going off and trying to give false info. But yeah, Clem got to see the Dark Shrine. Gets up his Raven, so the Raven's halfway done. It's beautiful play by Clem. A lot of the units that Terra makes, we often look at them, how can we deal damage with them? But Clem is often just doing builds where it's like, okay, how can I scout with these units? And just beautiful to see it being done.
I've become a real fan of the sort of YOLO Hellion, where you just make 1, you use the Reaper to either get yourself in, and you just sacrifice it to scout. It's very, very cute, not too expensive. A unit at a time where you're usually not making too many units anyway. Now this Reaper does look like it will unfortunately survive. +1 air weapons now here coming out of ShoWTimE. There's no Stargate.
Okay, bear with me here. I think he thought the Reaper was going to jump up there and maybe see it blinking around and stuff.
Nice.
I'm not entirely sure, because even if I do see that blinking, I don't think like, oh yeah, he's definitely going like this weird 2-base air toss style against me. I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah, especially after scouting the Dark Shrine and stuff like that. It would be very unusual for the Protoss player to then just cancel all his buildings and go, double Stargate, Fleet Bacon, let's get going. I get what ShoWTimE was trying to do, but I feel like, as you said earlier, Clem very intelligent, probably isn't going to fall for this shenanigans. We don't really see any big deviations coming out of Clem right now. Just playing it at standard, trying to defend against this Archon drop, but as the Raven comes, no problems there.
No, like ShoWTimE has to be careful with that Warp Prism, because Interference Matrix on the Raven means that if you cast it on the Warp Prism, can no longer pick up or unload. So those Archons could be stranded. And this Archon drop hasn't really got much done. Neither did the DTs, actually, come to think of it.
No, I mean, have any workers gone down? Clem's killed the only worker this game. So ShoWTimE not able to find any damage at all. And behind us, the 3rd is coming down. This Reaper coming in late. Not going to be able to get too much done, but does see the worker count here on the 3rd. Gets 1 probe. Nice stuff from Clem, who once again, both of his Reapers have gone in late and found a probe. It's always really nice. As a Terran, I feel like if you find 1 probe later with your Reaper, it's done its job.
Certainly has. Clem firing up here. So very similar build to what he did on Ice and Chrome, where he gets like the Raven, a couple of tanks, and does a little bit of a push with a delayed 3rd. This time, though, even though he didn't necessarily deal a lot of damage, in fact, he dealt way less damage this time, it just lines up way better. And ShoWTimE going for the Dark Shrine and not being able to get much done because Clem scouted it, he kind of put himself behind as opposed to Clem having to deal damage, you know?
Yeah, Clem has +1. He is up 15 army supply right now. The push coming. Now, he hasn't brought SCVs with him from what I can see. Maybe a couple trailing here. That will be able to get up some bunkers, possibly. The tanks have sieged up, though, in an already good position. They're already quite close to the Nexus. They're not quite in range to hit it, though. And, of course, ultimately, that's your goal. It looks like, though, Clem's going to scan, see that there's double Colossus, and turn around and go home.
I think that's a good move. Like, even though a lot of his build lines up to do this 2-base push while setting up his 3rd base behind it, you know, being aggressive to save yourself from being defensive, he realizes that army's pretty tough. It didn't have any upgrades on it. I mean, it's going to have +1 finish pretty soon, but there's no need to throw away any kind of lead that you potentially have.
Yeah, I like that too. Clem is... we talk about ShoWTimE being confident in the macro games. It's not like Clem isn't. He's incredible at late game. If he gets to Vikings and Ghosts and Liberators and things like that, very, very solid. He's just so fast. His multitasking so good that he's able to keep up with all of these players in the late game. Now, this drop is going to come in. It's going to be seeing Clem not quite paying attention to it, is forced to boost out of there. But Clem's already producing double Vikings. His SCV count is still very, very good, getting up into the 60s. +1 armor about to finish off here. And things aren't looking bad by any means.
One thing I've really noticed about my own players, continually adding tanks. And I think it was Dream in GSL at one point was doing this really, really well. He just kept on making tanks, and it allows such a good anchor for your army when you do a push. It's not what you want to be sitting on, like defending with tanks and stuff late game, because, you know, you let the Protoss run rampant. But with a big push, a big timing, it can be absolutely mean. And I think this is very indicative of what Clem's doing here, getting himself ready to do a massive push.
No Ghost Academy from Clem just yet. Instead, just sticking on very heavy bio. Typical standard bio. He does have 17 Marauders, a very good number here, to tank some of those AoE spells and to generally dish out some damage with concussive shells. Now, the Raven is going to hit that big Dorito. Well, hit a Dorito cannon, and also... is the Dorito cannon on the Archon? Yeah. And disable one of the Colossus. This base does look like it might be under duress here. It does look like it's going to have to be cancelled. Clem doing a good job saving his units so far, but here comes a flank from ShoWTimE.
Look at ShoWTimE's upgrades as well. They're so close to being finished here, but he takes the fight just beforehand, and he commits, but then runs back. He takes out a lot of the Vikings and stuff, though. I think there's only 2 left on the field, only 1 tank as well here.
Another interference matrix goes on the Colossus, taking out a lot of sting from this army. But the reinforcements coming in. Immortal's very, very nice here, able to dish out a lot of damage to Bio. And the Colossus repowered is able to do that solid DPS that ShoWTimE so desperately needs. Vikings coming in, trying desperately to snipe the Colossus, but the Prism will save it. Zealot's just so annoying. Archon's so frustrating here. And it looks like ShoWTimE pushes back Clem, saves his 4th base, gets his upgrades, and generally takes a very good fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the positioning of Clem's army with all the tanks. They're also exposed. Another tank caught out here in Clem. You see it. He's huffing. He's puffing here. He's very, very uncomfortable. And it looks like Clem versus ShoWTimE might be going to a 5th map if it continues in this direction.
Yeah, the SCVs under duress now need to be pulled here. The Prism rejoining, adding on the reinforcements here. That's a lot of warpins. 6 Zealots at a time coming in right now from ShoWTimE, who is sitting on 10 gates, so can really, really back up his production and his reinforcements. There's only 2 Vikings left, and they will fall down, leaving the Colossus in the back to have free reign. The tank goes down. The Bio stands strong on the ramp, but the Colossus now just dishing out so much damage. SCVs are pulled. They do not want to fight in these Colossus beams. The Archons will go down. It does look like Clem maybe, just maybe, can push this force back, but at what cost to Muslim? He's losing so many units.
As is ShoWTimE, though. Like, look at the supplies. They're so damn close. The thing is, ShoWTimE has a 4th base behind this. He's getting better upgrades as well. He is on better upgrades, and he keeps alive a lot of the very, very strong units there in the Colossus. And now he's got so much gas to use, he can just warp in a ton of DTs and get some Archons together.
Yeah, Clem is attempting to take his 4th. He has it over towards the center, but not fully saturated just yet. Just now getting the gases saturated on that one. Clem is going for that Doom Drop. He's going for what I like to call the Kellijor move here. He's going to unload tons of bio into the main. There's really not that much here. Finally, the reinforcements will come in. Clem going to try and target down some Mortal. Does get it. Should probably unload, but the Madivac's being targeted down. They will almost all go down here. This drop not working out too well for Clem. Oh, losing everything. that was invested, but Clem is adding Liberators behind this, and the Stalker count is pretty low. There's only 8 right now, so Liberators could definitely turn the tides, I think.
Oh, I think for Clem to get back into this, he's going to require ShoWTimE making an absolute blunder of an attack, because ShoWTimE, make no mistake about it, he is ahead. He's ahead pretty damn hard. Clem's done a good job of re-establishing his economy, despite losing all those SCVs earlier, and he does have a 4th base now. But ShoWTimE, he's knocking on Clem's front door, and that is a real scary Protoss army. If he hits now, it's just before the upgrades of Clem finish.
Yeah, 5 seconds and counting down right now for Clem's upgrades. He wants to wait. 2, 1, they kick in, and Clem immediately starts posturing forward, is able to take the fight though. Yeah, the base will be saved. There is a DT here, actually, just being a nuisance. Scan energy will be forced to be used. That's 1 less mule, or 1 less scan later on the to determine the placement of the army. 4 workers did go down here for Clem. He's still at 67 though. His economy is good. His upgrades are good. He's adding in ghosts. If Clem can buy enough time, there's still definitely hope that he can close the series out. This planetary, very difficult to attack into. I'm not sure if ShoWTimE wants to take that, but he is going for it.
He's got a lot of firepower here, even blinks on it basically. And oh, is this the fight that Clem needed here? A lot of ShoWTimE's army immediately falling, and kind of has to back off a little bit. And now it's going to be Ghost coming out too. I think, oh, this is nice by ShoWTimE though. He's trying to make use of DTs, Zealot run-bys and what have you. But Clem, he's very, very defensively postured.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised ShoWTimE backed off of that attack on the lower base here, because there was nothing being pulled to the side, and if he had taken down that missile turret, DTs would have had free reign. We do see disruptors coming in right now for ShoWTimE, so this is starting to get towards that late game scenario that we really did want to see. First Ghost comes out, kind of whiffs it, doesn't get a great shot, just pushes back the army a little bit, forces the disengage here. Clem is holding on. Both players very close to max. Clem is starting his free now, or just plus 3 weapons 4 now. Tank count is getting back up there. We're sitting at 4 with a 5th about to pop. I mean, he's maxed. Yeah,
he definitely is. He's getting all the late game upgrades as well. And Clem, he's taking his 5th though. Like, this man, we've heard about people kind of making something out of nothing, and Clem, he's definitely making this a game for himself. His 3rd base under attack by ShoWTimE. Once again, nice EMP on the Zealots here.
Yeah, good defense there from Clem. Loses a few more SCVs, but he does have his 5th base, and the army is still posturing to the north, going to chase down these Stalkers, and that's nice. But Clem knows he can't go too far. Liberators make this hard to push into. Planetary nearly completed as well, and that's another level of protection here that Clem so desperately needs. The EMP, did it go off?
I don't believe he got an EMP off there. I mean, it would have been juicy on that big clumped up army. But Clem, he's just trying to buy time. Like, he's still making a ton of bio. I'm a little surprised he's not just... Oh, that's a warp prism in the wrong place at the wrong time. But Clem's doing such a good job of getting back into this, honestly, Grant. Like,
yeah,
I really thought he was dead quite some time ago. And now he's on 200 supply himself. He's catching up in the upgrades, getting 3-3. Does he want to be pushing out, though? I'm not sure if this is the move, because ShoWTimE's so aggressively postured to take advantage of this.
Yeah, ShoWTimE also has those DTs moving into the 7 base, and Shadow Stride is done, so they can pick off that missile turret very, very quickly. Enhanced Shockwaves on the way from Clem. He is going to lose this base, though, as well as that base to the south. And in just a moment, it looks like Clem has kind of been caught with his pants down. He's doing a good job of splitting against these disruptors. Going to pick one off on the backside here, but he lost 22 and rising workers. We didn't get to see if that shot went off, but it looks like most likely it did.
I believe it did. Loads of workers going down. ShoWTimE blinks aggressively forward. EMPs do land, but ShoWTimE, he's on the chase, producing disruptors, taking a 6th base with this. He's also on 81 probes against 46 SCVs. Yeah. He is in such good shape, and these DTs, well, they're all on red health, but, you know, they reign supreme.
Yeah, this base is trying to land down in the position where it's already been lost. But ShoWTimE has just complete control of this area of the map right now. The DTs did finish off that orbital as well. That's less scans, less mules, less everything here from Clem. And as you said earlier, Benny, maybe we got a little bit close to it going the other way, but it does look like we're going to map 5.
Certainly do, and they're both like a sigh of relief. So ShoWTimE does not go down without a fight whatsoever. He's actually playing pretty damn good, but Clem, he's a tough one to dismantle. And guys, this will be the final break of this series, but afterwards we'll see who wins out, Clem versus ShoWTimE.
Welcome back to DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters Europe bracket stage. We are here for our penultimate series of the day, and we're going to a map 5. It is ShoWTimE versus Clem. I am, as always, joined by the much more talented Benjamin Baker. Ben, what do you make of the series so far?
I think it's really cool. I love the fact that they're both mixing it up a little bit. Very, very back and forth. And the fact that it's going to a game 5, that's all you want. You know, you want both these players to perform well and show their best and show everything they've practiced. I think it's cool that ShoWTimE is showing us a very different him. Like a 1-base DT opening, which, you know, got scouted. A 2-base DT opening, which got scouted, but he ended up winning anyway. Like, it's a fiery series, and now it all comes down to Eternal Empire as to who moves on in the winner bracket.
So what you're saying is he went 1-base DT, then he went 2-base DT. I'm seeing a pattern, and I'm going to guess 3-base DT.
Your guess is as good as mine, Grant. Your guess is as good as mine. Sorry, I got a little booger of a fly flying around here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, move away, little guy, move away. I've got ShoWTimE versus Clem to watch, mate. Anyhow.
In the top right, as Benjamin Baker fights a fly, he is the blue Terran player from Team Liquid and France. It's Clem.
And spawning over in the bottom left-hand side, playing for Team Big, it is ShoWTimE.
So, here on Eternal Empire, very big map. The widest in the pool, certainly. A lot of bases. We see some very, very good late-game matches here on Eternal Empire. So, for map 5, that would be pretty perfect if we could go the distance and have a big, long Disruptor, Liberator, you know, war. Do you expect Clem to still have to be the aggressor? Or do you think, seeing the way ShoWTimE's playing, he can sit back and defend and just macro up?
I really think it's on the Terran to slow down the Protoss a little bit in the same kind of way that you slow down a Zerg when you play TVZ. How you do that? I mean, you have so many ways, right? Like, Hellions have been truly amazing recently. Widowmine's also amazing. I know a few people like to try and go for these weird proxy marauder builds and stuff, but never been a fan. But when it comes to Eternal Empire, I think this is such a nice map to defend and set up 3 bases that realistically, if you're Clem, you have to be thinking, okay, if I harass, I also have to be kind of greedy behind this, because these 2-base aggressive builds, they don't work half as well on this map in particular. And
for all of us here, we get to learn something, Ben, because you saying that Terran is on the onus to make something happen in all the matchups means Terran definitely needs buffing. I've got your back. My Terran brothers, underpowered and all of that.
Aren't you Protoss, Grant?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I'm just trying to suck up to these new faces that aren't so used to me.
This is one of these things where it's like, you know, if you're a Zerg player, you're trying to get the Terrans and Protosses fighting while, you know, you sneakily get all the buffs. And, you know, I feel this, trying to force some rift between us Terran and Zerg bros over here. I see right through you, Grant. Anyhow.
Well, to be honest, if I tried to make an argument for Protoss getting buffed, I'd look a bit silly, because they probably don't need it, let's be honest right now. Twilight Council coming down here. Oh, the Reaper is actually going to be able to get in and get a good scout.
You just lost yourself every Protoss fan you could have possibly had with that one.
I lost them a long time ago.
They're probably all sat there being like, oh my gosh, have you not seen PvZ in the last few months, Grant? And like these Reddit threads where it's like,
about this matchup.
Cyril has not lost a match against Protoss in years and years and years. By the way, Clem going for 3 CC off 1 gas here. So absolutely, he's playing the map where it's like, okay, I can't be super duper aggressive. So you know what I'll do? I'll go the absolute other route. I'll be super duper greedy.
Yeah, and I like it as well. I think 3 CC on any map is pretty good if you can trust that you're going to survive. But here on Eternal Empire, you certainly expect your opponent to sit back a little bit here. It is very, very standard from ShoWTimE. Just going into a new 2-gate blink with a robo. So Clem getting that fast third CC shouldn't be punished too much. Should be able to pull this one off. He will probably keep it at home and just produce 3 SCVs for a while, I would imagine, instead of instantly landing it. ShoWTimE, though, just adding on all of his standard units, getting a good amount of sentries, or actually just as fast for that scout. and just powering up for the mid game.
Yeah. Okay. This Reaper will. Oh no! It won't. Did he even get to see the tech a little bit? Okay, he got to see a Twilight Council, which, if this series is any indicator, that could be a Dark Shrine still. And you have to remember, like, these guys are very good at series playing. So show him what you did earlier in the series. Yeah. That's going to definitely play a role in your opponent's mind a little bit. But we'll see what Clem chooses to do from here on.
Yeah, as expected from Clem, he's adding on those extra racks for his bio play, getting double eBays even, getting all my upgrade facilities wrong today, and producing Marines, getting Stim, getting a few Marauders nice and early too to defend against Stalker play, and I mean, he's not got a starport.
No, that'll come later. Like whenever you go for like a 3cc build, it's always about you need enough bio to kind of survive. If you went into the starport too early, it's just like, oh my gosh, ShoWTimE could literally arrive at his base with a few adepts and he's dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
ShoWTimE has spotted that now with the hallucination. Like, was that the first sign that he's seen the third CC? By the way, Clem's been getting quite a bit supply blocked here. Like, there was a supply depot thrown down, then into a supply block even.
Wow, real focus here on macros. We see Double Forge going down at 5.5 minutes here for ShoWTimE, or just before, getting his robotics bay. He has a few Stalkers to poke and prod and slow down any SCV transitions or anything like that. There is enough bio plus the Cyclone here to push these Stalkers away. They're going to try and be as cost effective as possible on the way out. Don't want to lose any. Very, very nice to blink away from the lock on there. And yeah, ShoWTimE just backing off. Clem does secure his third base. 1-1 on the way for, actually just +1. Yeah, no, 1-1, sorry, I'm so blind. For Clem, +1 armor starting off here for our Protoss, as well as +1 weapons, and Colossus production has begun. This is pretty cookie cutter standard, I would say, so far. Ben, anything catching your eye?
It definitely is very standard. And again, it comes down to the map a bit. Like, you can't necessarily be super gung-ho on this map. It's very nice and easy to defend. The two blocks where Clem has his army, like one outside is third, one outside is natural, that's where you defend. And if you imagine that on the other side, that's where the Protoss would defend too. Very hard to engage, very easy to set up 3 bases.
Medevac production is rolling. First 2 already out. A couple more coming, so we may see some drops coming in not too long. But the Colossi production even is already pretty good. Extended thermal lance on the way. The second Colossus is on the way, so he's going to have that real damage backbone to his composition. The extra racks coming down from Clem now to really start powering them up. It looks like both of these players have sort of said, no rush 10 minutes. Let's just calm down, macro up, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but the time is now. And +1/+1 is actually finishing for Clem. And even though you could look at this and be like, well, it's finishing for ShoWTimE soon as well. But this is a pretty nice timing to get stuff happening, and this is when there's going to be multiple medevacs on the field, and this is where the map really opens up. But that observer sees absolutely everything there for ShoWTimE, and ShoWTimE's setting up his 4th base as well. He feels very, very comfy here. Yeah,
4th base at 7:30. As a Protoss, you feel nice. I expect we'll see him add on a little bit more tech here. We do see High Templars on the way. No Storm started just yet going into Archons. Usually when you get your 4th is when you look for your 2nd Robo or your transition into whatever tech you're going to go, start adding on disruptors and things like that at about the 4th stage of the game. Upgrades, as you said, for ShoWTimE, about to finish here. He's got a few seconds left. Clem hasn't started his 2-2 immediately, and we do see a bit of a fight coming in here, Muslim.
Yeah, but not one that Clem wants to take. He's getting his 2nd starport now, and he's getting his armory. So his armory was a bit, a bit late. Like, it didn't necessarily link up with his +2/+2, and now ShoWTimE's taking the lead in that regard. And we just talked about a minute ago how he was behind. Ooh, this Widowmine drop absolutely shut down by ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE's looking very, very clean this game, and it really feels like what Wardy said was true. If Clem doesn't stop ShoWTimE and really blast him early, ShoWTimE ends up having a significant lead in the mid to late game.
Yeah, upgrades for ShoWTimE should be finishing out a little bit quicker because Chrono is being dumped into them. We have a Prism on the way now as well for ShoWTimE. So ShoWTimE going to start using the map a little bit more, using its width and try and find some harassment. And Eternal Empire is just so good for Zealot run-bys, right? There's so much potential across all of these different avenues. Clem has not yet walled off even the little ramp by as natural. ShoWTimE, though, is being scanned, just trying to keep his army very safe, trying to get a little bit of information himself. The game's still very even. I know we say ShoWTimE has an advantage or whatever, but supply's even. ShoWTime's just done a great job of getting a very powerful army right now.
Certainly has. Ghosts are coming out on the field as well as Vikings, though. It's not as if Clem's totally forgotten upgrades, like they're on the way as well. It's just the roles have flipped. He's taken his 4th base, going to be a PF on the rich Vespane gas spot. But look at that Protoss. That is late game Protoss in a nutshell. Oh, the Widowmine with the friendly fire. And
yeah,
that is the one bravest Stalker I've ever seen with red health. He just blinked forward and tried to get done something. But yeah, we'll see. There is a ShoWTimE at the top of the map as well. I think that's a Warp Prism over there. So it's going to get dicey.
Yeah, Dark Trine on the way, second Robo on the way, gates being added here for ShoWTimE, and he has that Prism unloaded here. Going to be able to cancel this base, maybe even, oh, okay, so he's actually going to go for the fight. More friendly fire from those Widowmires, and we see an EMP going down some of this army, forcing ShoWTimE back. Clem has a supply lead for now. His 2-2 very close to completing. Enhanced Shockwaves on the way, Ghosts on the way, Vikings on the way. Clem's really starting to claw back into a very strong army composition here. Goodbye.
What's that host? The weakest link. I was just like, I had a big flash of that.
Oh, what's her name? Anne something, right?
Either Caroline or Anne something, but you were absolutely her just then. Okay, 2 sensor towers coming down, 2 CCs coming down, and extra barracks for Clem. Now, this game was definitely... Oh, those ghosts. You have to be so careful. 1 EMP does land here. Not the big EMPs just yet.
The Vikings getting some great volleys here onto the Colossus. Another EMP goes down, and they've been pretty good here. The Colossus are very, very weak. All 3 of them on red health, forced to leave the fight. EMP on top of these Archons, and they will start to fall down. It looks like Clem taking the better of this fight so far. There's still a good number of Blinkstalkers, Zealots, and an Immortal Disruptor joining the fray. That will force Clem to back off a little bit here. But Enhanced Shockwave's 5 seconds from finishing, and if he can hit EMPs like he's already been hitting, but bigger, he's going to be in a very, very good spot for the next fight.
Getting the Fusion Core as well, so he's going to like probably tech switch into Liberators, which will absolutely make things difficult. That's kind of the direct next step to countering Disruptors. This army, though, of ShoWTimE, it's totally replenished its energy, its shield energy, that is, and it's looking ready to fight again. And those Disruptors, you always have to respect Disruptors.
And now we see so many Zealots charging in here, able to buffer so well, allowing the Stalkers to get pot shots, the Colossus as well. The Disruptor moving forward, it's going to fire a Purification Nova. It manages to take out a Marauder and a Ghost, maybe a Marine as well. And this is looking so good for ShoWTimE. The Zealot count is still healthy. Stalkers poking away, Ghosts are falling. Good EMP though from that Ghost, and now Clem turning the fight around.
Yeah, I think this has been all about Clem, actually. He's been microing so damn well. He's stood a step on point, dodges and disruptors. It's been pretty okay, too. ShoWTimE, he's behind supply now, and he's running. And oh, look at that. Dancing around that disruptor shot, picking it off. These disruptors seemingly never run out, and ShoWTimE's doing a good job of keeping them alive, too, with the Warp Prism, then running them back to his or behind the army. Oh, the bio there just ran face first into the Zealots, but another BMP does land. ShoWTimE staying alive.
Yeah, ShoWTimE continuing disruptor production, and they seem to be the key right now to his survival and advancement of the game. We do see +2 ship weapons about to finish off here, meaning the Vikings, and now those Liberators are going to do so much damage. Did Advanced Ballistics get researched? Not yet. So I'd expect we should see that start very soon. Upgrades are going to take a lead here for ShoWTimE for about 30-40 seconds as Clem's armor is a little bit slow here. Another big EMP on top of this bio army. And there's no Colossus anymore, so it's all up to the Disruptors to do that big AoE splash damage. And Clem showing that he can dodge and dance all day. Yeah,
there's no Colossus, but there's also no Viking, so that's great for Clem. That's just super good supply for him to be using. And the Disruptor, this shot, that was nasty, that was mean. But is there just too much Clem at this point? He's +3 attack on his bio. And he's just standing very strong.
Behind this, Advanced Ballistics has been started up. Another Disruptor goes down. These money units for ShoWTimE starting to evaporate here. We do see a flank coming in, and Stalkers would have been so vital. And they all go down. A Zealot charging in. A Super Battery has been activated. Another Liberator does join the fray, or the first one repositions more likely. And Snipe's even coming in now. Clem feeling confident that he won't need EMPs anymore. Doing a great job of dodging. And Clem's up 45 supply, the Muslim.
And look at this as well. Behind all this, taking a 5th base, taking a 6th base, also advancing to +3 air weapons as well. So these Liberators are going to be dealing monstrous damage. Clem is in all sorts of control this game. This disruptor shot, though, might be a bit juicy, and it is juicy. Buying ShoWTimE some more time, but 3 more CCs being made. Clem is going into full-on monster macro mode here.
Yeah, and I mean, the Ghost survived that disruptor hit, and the Ghost is so important. DTs, though, absolutely ravaging Clem's base. This must come on a bit of a timer. Disruptor hits a great shot here. And now Clem is dropped down in work count to below that of his opponent. Of course, he has a lot of CCs, and he is going to be able to return snipe this base. That's very important for Clem, I think. But DTs are just such a nuisance.
They are. Is this PF going to be able to stay alive? The CC?
No.
Oh, no. A pause here. I wonder what happened there. Okay, a little bit of a lag spike there for Clem, apparently. I was actually wondering why his SCVs started hugging the DTs as opposed to repairing the PF. So I wonder if it was... Yeah, apparently Clem had a bit of a 5-second freeze there. So maybe he could have kept that PF alive?
No, he does have another base completely on top of it, almost. So he will be able to land that. Guys, we'll get back into the game in just a few moments. The players seem to be ready. Thank you for sticking with us through the small technical Clem difficulty. But we are getting back into the game. DT's currently shredding through these SCVs. Bio coming to reinforce as we return to Eternal Empire for this final map, the Muslim. Very back and forth.
Very back and forth. But those last few moments, ShoWTimE eliminating not just 1, but 2 bases with the DTs. And even denying another base over here with these 2 Stalkers. Definitely fighting very, very hard, but that's a lot of Liberators he has to worry about.
Yeah.
Disruptor shots going off. Decent hit so far, but it is advanced ballistic Liberators. And this angle, it's so, like, how do you engage the Terran from here?
Yeah, I mean, the Disrupt is just offering so much room for the Terran player. Moving them forward 1 by 1, we do see the Stalkers blink forward, but DTs have gone for round 2 in this base, but Clem has the reinforcements, will be able to push this back. The fight's still going on at the front here. Clem pushing up the ramp, dodging these Purification Novas like an absolute genius. Like Snoot on a DDR machine, he's able to keep his dodges going. The Liberators have tried to go down, but the trade just looks so efficient here for Clem.
Every time. Oh, these TTs are doing a damn good job of keeping ShoWTimE in the game, by the way. Oh, what disruptor?
Oh, my God, my heart.
That was so close to getting the shot off, and even ShoWTimE, I see him muttering away to himself. I think he thought he might be able to get off as well, because that might be able to keep him in this. 160 supply. ShoWTimE's trying to weasel his way to get that bottom right base behind all this pressure.
The problem right now is that ShoWTimE's army, there's next step no buffer left. There's no Archons. The Zealot count is getting a little bit low, and they're also queued up. These EMPs have been so on point. Advanced Ballistics paying off in droves here for Clem, who is now stimming forward, trying to find these good trades. Dodge the Purification Novas. He just doesn't... Okay, loses a Marauder, but doesn't seem to take any bad trades here. Clem, these Advanced Ballistics Liberators doing so much damage. He still defended at home, and Clem now up 55 supply and growing. Zealots charge forward. Oh, another Disruptor goes down. ShoWTimE needs every one of these. He defends at home. And it looks like Clem is starting to make grounds here at this base, this triangle base of ShoWTimE. The Muslim?
I mean, Clem's playing a phenomenal game, even getting snipes off amidst all this madness, expanding like a madman behind it. Truly, truly such an all-round good Terran. And Clem...
GG!
Oh, and look at him. He's smiling there. He feels relieved, and